If you're looking for a video with tips on what to do when you feel like doing nothing, then this video is for you. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Arndt, and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And I want to talk with you today about a really important question, because I know that you, as a peak performer, are oftentimes asking yourself the question, what can I do when I feel unmotivated, burned out, and overwhelmed? And I have been dealing with this question for a couple of years now, and I've sometimes managed it really well, and sometimes I haven't managed it really well, but I have come to a really interesting conclusion that I want to share with you today. The number one tip on what to do when you feel super unmotivated and burned out is to not do, and instead just to be. And I know this sounds really simple, and maybe you stop watching this video now because you think, oh well, Julia is not going to give me any tips on what to do when I feel unmotivated and what I can do to get back into the swing of things. But here's the thing. I know that many of you that are watching my videos are in fact peak performers. And as a peak performer, you like to do things. You feel super accomplished every time you're getting work done, every time you're sending out an email. And there's a really good reason for that, because every time you're getting a task done, you have a little dopamine rush. Workaholism is a real thing because we're getting addicted to the state of having these little happiness moments throughout our day. So you have learned over the course of many, many years that every time you do something, you get rewarded with an internal dopamine rush. And that is why sometimes it's really, really hard to not do anything at all. What am I even saying? It is really hard to not do anything. It is really hard for me as well. And I had to learn the hard way to start taking better care of myself, because I experienced burnout in 2018 and I had to actually take 3 months out. I had to take a medical leave in order to get back into a better routine. And so I want to share with you an anecdote that I had with a client the other day, because I was talking to him and I asked him about what he is doing after work in order to recharge himself. And initially he answered the question with just telling me all of the things that he continued to do at work that made him feel very accomplished. And then when I asked him and prompted him another time, he told me that he had listed his Sprinter van. And I said to him, hey, this is really cool that you're doing all of these different things, but it still sounds like work. It doesn't really sound like you're actually doing something to completely relax, unwind, and disconnect. And he was really surprised by that. He wasn't really aware that he wasn't really doing anything to really recharge his batteries, because everything he was still doing was kind of still work. And so I really want to challenge you today with this specific journaling prompt. I want you to think about, what do you do on a day-to-day basis to recharge yourself? This is super important, and I have so many different videos on my YouTube channel about why it is so important to relax and what the stress performance curve, how they're interacting with each other, and why it is absolutely necessary to relax and unwind. And I want you to really bring this question into your day-to-day life. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to recharge yourself? That is extremely important. So that is the first thing that I want to mention, right? So we talked about when you feel super unmotivated, when you feel really unproductive, when you feel burnt out, what can you do? You don't do anything at all is the answer, because it's probably a really good sign from your body that you have done too much over the last couple of weeks or over the last couple of months or even years, and that you haven't taken enough time to relax and unwind. So the answer to your question, what to do when you feel unproductive and burnt out, is to do nothing at all, to go back to bed, to go to sleep, and to just completely relax and not do anything at all. I know it's super, super difficult, but that will be the thing that will help you the most to recharge your batteries and get back into that productive mindset, get back into feeling more inspired. have more creative ideas, because your prefrontal cortex, the frontal part of your brain, is responsible for making all of these kind of decisions, for being focused, for being concentrated. And if you are overwhelming the prefrontal cortex with stress hormones, it is busy taking care of the stress hormones. It is not being able to focus and concentrate anymore. And that obviously has both effects emotionally and physically. So I want you to really just relax and unwind and take care of yourself and do whatever it is that you love to do. Don't get me wrong. I know that not doing anything at all and just being in a state of being is super hard, because we love to do things. But here's a challenge that I want to give you. Now that you have that journaling prompt, I want you to really see this as also a to-do thing on your to-do list every single day. What is something that you do on a daily basis to recharge? This is actually a journaling prompt that I have in my peak performance planner, because I think it is really important, and I want to bring more consciousness into your life. And I want you to think more about what is it that helps you to relax and unwind to get back to a productive state. And I'm telling you this particularly because I know that you're doing way than enough. I know that I'm not talking to you, to someone that is not doing anything at all and that is procrastinating all the time. I know that you're doing a lot of work. I know that you're getting a lot of things done all the time. And I know that if there's one thing that you need in your life, it is to take more rest and to relax a little bit more, and probably also to have a little bit more fun in your life. And you know, the biggest realization that I've had over the years, worrying about getting things done and wanting to feel accomplished and focusing way too much time on my professional life than on my personal life and on my personal well-being, is that I actually always got everything done that I set out to do. Maybe it wasn't always perfectly on time, but I got everything done. But the worrying state of just being worried about, will I get all of these different things done, didn't really help me. It just put more stress and more pressure on myself. And here's the next thing. We have so high expectations of ourselves. We think that other people have these expectations of us, but it's actually us that put most of the pressure on ourselves. We have so high expectations of ourselves. We always want to do things because we feel accomplished. We have that dopamine rush, and it just feels really great, right? To get things done and to see what we have accomplished throughout the day. But here's the thing. You will be so much more performant and so much happier as well when you're listening a little bit more to what your body and your mind is actually telling you. So if you feel unfocused, unburnt out, and unproductive, it is a sign that you need to take some rest. And when you do that, when you actually take some rest, I want you to start celebrating that. If you're looking for another tip on what to do when you feel really unproductive and burnt out, because maybe the tip of just going back to bed and laying down and not doing anything at all is not enough for you, then let me share one more thing with you that I think is really helpful. I want you to think about this in the way of, what can you do that really brings you joy? What makes you really happy? For me, it's, for example, sitting down and journaling, because it helps me to sort through my mind and my thoughts. It also helps me to go outside in nature and just to look at nature and be in the present moment. It's so wonderful to be outside. We are not going outside enough. And you know, when I ask you about what you are doing on a day-to-day basis to recharge yourself, it doesn't mean that you have to do 2 or 3 or 4 hours of self-care every day. It can be as simple as 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. There are so many things that you can do in order to really rest. And sometimes, obviously, the answer is laying down and not doing anything at all. Maybe playing with your pet, spending time with your loved ones. There are so many different things that you can do that maybe make you still feel a little bit more accomplished than just by laying in bed. But it's really important that whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, celebrate that. Celebrate that you're taking time for yourself and that you're actually honoring yourself, because it's so important, and nobody else will do it for you. Nobody else will force you to lay down. The only person that is going to force you to lay down and relax is yourself when you're starting to get sick because you have put too much pressure on yourself, when you have had too many elevated stress levels over an extended period of time. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Remember, strive for progress, not perfection. I really hope to see you in the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and let me know in the comments below what you did in order to practice better self-care. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.